Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at a Pokemon that I have not played for quite a long time. It's going to be my Shadow Sableye. This Pokemon was actually quite meta a little bit ago at least, but today we're going to talk a little bit about if this Pokemon is still meta, if this Pokemon has some play, what are the weaknesses, what are the strengths, why is it not as common anymore, also in the normal variant. But yeah, today we're going to have a team here with the Lickitung as a safe swap. Yeah, maybe a little bit lame, but honestly I don't really play Lickitung too often recently, so I kind of think it's kind of fine to use this Pokemon again. We're going to have here the Gligar against us, which is kind of okay for us, but we're going to have the Ferrothorn in the back, so something a little bit more spicy, but honestly the core of Ferrothorn plus the Sableye was something I enjoyed quite a bit. Ferrothorn has a lot of play in the current meta, especially with Thunder and Power Whip. You're going to have coverage against the core of the Skarmory plus the Mud Boys, and that's really important, so very cool Pokemon. Here we're going to see one of the strengths of the Sableye. It is a Stab Shadow Claw user with a Shadow bonus, which is doing a ton of damage against a lot of Pokemon, giving you quite a lot of options of farming down stuff. Here we're going to see actually a Feraligatr swapping in against us, which is kind of nice. We can go for a Power Whip, forcing the final shield from the opponent, which is going to be amazing for us, because now our Ferrothorn is going to be able to take a move here most likely. Okay, we're going to use a shield here, which is fine. It's going to be an Ice Beam. We can go for a Power Whip. They can swap out into their Dragonair, but we're still going to be in a decent spot. As we can see here, we can knock them out. They're forced to go for another charge move. I don't think they're going to be able to knock us out here. Do they knock us out? Well, let's find out here. It is going to be very likely an Ice Beam. It is actually going to knock us out, but it doesn't matter because we still have a move stored, and so we're going to be able to knock them out. And I find it quite interesting, by the way, that something like the Sableye, while we encounter a pretty bad lead, but we can still at least get some energy here, which is kind of great, why something like the Sableye is not really viable anymore, like not as used anymore. Because the thing is, most Pokemon that go out of the meta, that were like top meta, for example, something like a Galarian Stunfisk, usually get nerfed in order to get out of the meta there. But Sableye never got nerfed. Shadow Claw still the same, Foul Play still the same. Here in this case, Power Gem / Return still the same, but still this Pokemon has way less usage. Why is that the case? Very clearly because Medicham is not really around anymore. Medicham was basically on every team for quite a long time, as we get a shield advantage against the Vigoroth, which is kind of nice, and here we're actually going to be able to go ahead and go into our Ferrothorn, which can take any charge move from the opponent, which is even better for us. Yeah, but basically Medicham was around for quite a long time, and so like one of the main targets is going to be gone for the Sableye. Annihilate is still fairly decent for the Sableye, but the issue is that at least Annihilate can hit back against you with Night Slash and the Shadow Ball, which was never the case basically for the Medicham, was always great, kinda got hard countered, and still this Pokemon has a lot of play against the meta. There are quite a lot of Pokemon that are very neutral towards it, as you can see here, for example, the Empoleon. We're going to be able to use a shield against the opponent as well, and I try to go for the full farm down at this point of time because I don't think it's worth it to throw a charge move. Now I can go up to 2 foul plays, I can go for at least 1 foul play here, and I have to, I think, still reach a Power Gem in order to win this game. Let's see if I can get there. I can barely get there in time. Is it going to be enough to knock them out? Let's find out here. It is not, but we still have our Ferrothorn. Can we knock them out with that? It is going to be close. Is the Bullet Seed here enough to knock them out here? It is going to be enough, and we can win this game. So basically, yeah, the meta is still kind of okay for it, but still this Pokemon kind of is having a little bit of a less usage. Why is this the case? I'm honestly thinking that the main reason why this Pokemon doesn't have like the usage that it had before is that the meta kind of got faster. Like you see around something like Whiscash a lot of times, which is just going to get to the charge moves way faster against you. Also, there are a lot more Pokemon that have more fast move pressure than before, where it also doesn't really have the biggest play against, because you have not the craziest bulk with this Pokemon, especially the Shadow variant. So like a Dragon Breath variant of the Shadow Dragonair would be a little bit more trickier for this Pokemon. So while it didn't get nerfed directly, I feel like the meta itself might be a little bit of a trickier one for the Sableye to deal with. Here, we're going to see actually Gligar against a Ferrothorn, which hopefully going to be good for us. Let's see what we can do here. We're gonna use no shield here. This might be a little bit risky. It's going to be a dig. It is going to be a dig. Great play by the opponent. Should have used a shield there for sure. But maybe you can still win this one. It's going to be a close one. They use a shield, which is smart, I guess. I can go for another Power Whip. I should have used the shield on the first move most likely, but it is what it is. We can still do a ton of damage here. But yeah, in general, I feel like the meta itself just shifted around like more like not really more bulk, but more faster attacks, so like something like Whiscash and Mud Bomb and stuff like this, which is not really ideal because you don't outspeed them anymore, and also more fast move pressure, which is a little bit more of an annoying thing. Also, if you thought about it, like back in the day, you had a Registeel as like one of the top tier meta Pokemon. While it's a rank 1 on PvPoke, it's definitely not used like as a rank 1 Pokemon, which was also a great matchup for the Sableye. So all in all, the meta itself just kind of shifted against this Pokemon. Especially if you're going to encounter the really only core breaker for this team, I would say, which is going to be the Wigglytuff here, of course. Wigglytuff is going to be a Pokemon that we have to swap into our Lickitung, but it's not a great matchup. Lickitung has an okay matchup in the Zero Shield scenario here. It is not ideal, but it is something that we can at least play out. Icy Wind is coming through. In comes the Charger Bug, which is a neutral Pokemon for our entire team, kinda. We can go ahead and go for the Body Slam, which is going to do some decent damage, but we of course are going to be like debuffed at this point already, so we're going to be forced to go for another Body Slam. They hopefully cannot farm us down. They decide to go for a Charge Move. That's great for us. I was a little bit scared for a moment, but yeah, we're going to see here that the opponent is not going to have the greatest time, as we will be able to go ahead and take this Discharge. We can go for the full farm down, hopefully. Oh, they still get to a charge mode. This is a little bit annoying, but maybe we can still do something here. Let's see, Extra is coming through. We're going to be able to swap out into our Ferrothorn against the Wigglytuff, which is kind of important. I try to get the shield as soon as possible, but let's find out here. It is going to be the shield coming up. Let's see what they're going to do here. They're going to go for Icy Wind. There might be double weak to our Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn itself, by the way, is a great Pokemon to use right now. As you're going to see, they're going to be double weak against us. It is going to be that Lantern in the back. And I think I'm still going to be in a little bit of a tough spot here because the opponent is in a range where they're going to be able to knock me out eventually here at least. So we're going to be able to go for one Power Whip here as well, but they might be able to outspeed me to the next charge move, and so it's going to be a tough one. Let's see here, the opponent lets this move go through actually, allowing me to go for another charge move against the Wigglytuff, but I feel like I should be swapping out at this point, because I don't think they really, yeah, I don't get to another charge move here, and this is really bad for me. So can we still reach the power? Oh, we actually have the power gem loaded already. Is this enough to knock them out? It's a pretty bad move, but it is still enough to knock them out, and we can win this game. Honestly, like, I feel the Power Gem might be something that needs a buff in the future, would definitely make this Pokemon a little bit better. I don't think there's a Pokemon that currently learns Power Gem that would be too overpowered either. So yeah, let's see here. We're gonna see the opponent stopping out into their Greedent. We can still do some decent damage with our Foul Play, and the cool thing about the Greedent matchup is if they run Trailblaze, they're gonna get completely hardwalled with their charge moves against our Ferrothorn. Some still run Crunch, most people run Trailblaze, this person also runs Trailblaze, and so they're gonna get completely hardwalled here, which is lovely for us. Body Slam is going to be resisted, Trailblaze is double resisted, and they know this as well, and so we can go for the full farm down against the opponent. In comes the Body Slam. We're just gonna go for the Bullet Seed down. We're gonna get as much energy as possible. We don't really care too much about any of the damage that is coming in here, and as you're gonna see here, the opponent is swapping out into their Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz is going to not enjoy the Thunder, as it's going to do around half of the opponent's health, and this was also a CMP type, which is even better for us. As you're gonna see here, the aerial is coming through. We can swap out. We bait out the opponent's Lantern. I did not want to throw my energy straight away, and I think we're going to be in a great spot here. Foul Play, gonna get the shield from the opponent. I can still go for another Foul Play. I think a Foul Play does more damage than a neutral Power Gem, because Power Gem is just not a great move. Here in comes again our Ferrothorn. I try to force some energy from them, which works out quite well. I decided to use a shield because I can get a shield from the opponent as well, which I feel like is the best play that I can go for. Our power, most likely power gonna get shield here, which I kind of expected. But they should be in range for one Body Slam, but they might still be able to get some damage onto me. I'm still a little bit scared though, because they have their Mandibuzz, and I should have shielded this Thunderbolt here, which I expected would be a Surf, but now I'm forced to use a shield. This is going to be just a Surf, so well played by the opponent. I thought they would go for the bait, but here in comes the Mandibuzz now. We're gonna be able to go for another charge move. The Body Slam is coming through. We can two-shot them, but they of course still have the Lantern in the back, so I have to kind of overfarm by just a little bit here. Dark Pulse coming through. They would two-shot us. We can just barely overfarm. This should be enough for us to knock them out here, and I still think we outspeed them here, and as we can see, we're going to be able to knock out the first one, and they decide to even forfeit the game. Charger Bug here against us in the next game. We're going to be able to go ahead and go for no charge move here. We're going to decide to go for a shield first. I kind of want to swap out eventually here, just in case they're going to have some kind of fighting type Pokemon in the back. So I decided to go for one charge move here. I might go ahead and go for like 2 more fast moves, or yeah, he decided to go for 2 more fast moves and swap out onto the next charge move in order to keep my Sableye alive. We don't really take too much damage here on the Lickitung. They're gonna decide to overfarm by quite a bit and decide to go for another charge move. I actually quite like this, because I would be a little bit more feared with my other Pokemon. Against this thing, I can still go for a Body Slam. This might even knock them out. Let's take a look at this. It is going to be able to get, not the knockout, but a few licks later, this thing is gonna go down, and we see that they have their own Lickitung. And you know, in the back, our Pokemon is going to be able to resist all the charge move of this thing, and so Ferrothorn is going to have a great time here. We will see that they overfarm by quite a little bit, and so we can go for another charge move here. This is going to be able to connect, and with all the energy, it's all going to go to waste. Like, Body Slam is going to be resisted, the Power Whip is double resisted, so like this Body Slam, I don't really care too much about it. I can go to my Ferrothorn, and we will see what they have in the back. Or do we? No, we don't, because the opponent decides to forfeit. Next opponent coming up, we're going to have the Skarmory here in the lead. This is going to be a matchup which you can win as a Sableye. In the 2-shield scenario, as 1 foul play, and the Shadow Claw should be enough to just knock them out eventually, at least. At least that's what I kind of think it is. But here, we're going to see that they're going to be a Whiscash coming in. I tried to swap onto a charge move, it worked out pretty well. And so Mud Bomb is going to go to nowhere, basically, here. So, we're going to be able to take another charge move from the opponent. They can, though, actually flip this matchup, I think, if they wanted to. So, I decided to overfarm by a little bit. This is actually perfect overfarming for me, which is great. So, Power Whip is going to take the knockout. And if they go back into their Skarmory, they still have to fear the Thunder here. So, let's see. They decide to go into this, and they decided to go for a charge move straight away, knowing that I'm most likely running Thunder on this Pokemon. I can go back into my Sableye, and we're going to encounter now a Poliwrath. This is going to be a tough one, but we do a lot of fast move damage now against them, which is kind of nice for us. We can go straight for the foul play, because it's going to be our best move to go for against them. And if we just get them low, which we're going to be able to do here, our Lickitung is going to have a great time. You see me swapping out here. Why do I do this? Because I kind of want to clear the debuff later on. I knew they would go straight for the Ice Rune on the first move, so I decided to no-shield that one. I could no-shield this one as well, but I decided to go for a shield here against the Scald, which is great for me. And so we both at 1 shields, but as I see, their health is still low, and so they decide to forfeit. Next opponent coming up, we're going to have a Shadow Gligar here in the lead. This is going to be a lovely for us as well. We can go for a foul play on the CMPeter actually. They usually outspeed us, which is again something that's talked about earlier on. They're just faster Pokemon now available. Like, Gligar is also one of the issues for like something like Sableye to succeed, just because Aerial Ace is gonna get reached way too fast. But you can win the the 1-shield scenario here against it, which is kind of great. And so the opponent decides to swap out. Huge mistake, because we're going to have a great Pokemon to counter this one here with our Ferrothorn. Of course, I wish that they didn't catch the move here, because then we would have been even able to get more out of it. But as you can see here, we can get to the charge move before they even reach their own charge move, and it's going to be an Annihilate. And I actually quite like this. Like, while we have 2 Pokemon that's weak to counter, I don't really mind, because they're forced to go for a charge move here still, but also the energy that they still have stored. Like, my Lickitung doesn't really care too much about it. As long as they don't get the boost here, we should be kind of fine. I still decided to go into my Sableye here, just in order to get some more fast move pressure in, and now I can go for the Lick Down. I have to hope that this is not going to be a close combat, though. Close combat would be a trickier one. It is a Shadow Ball, and so the opponent is now a Gligar that's nearly dead anyway against our Lickitung that has a little bit of energy even prior, and so this game is kind of over already as well for the opponent. We might be even able to just lick them down. I decided to use a shield here most likely. Yeah, it's going to be a dig, and so the opponent decides to forfeit. So many people are quitting out against me, which I just only realized, which is kind of wild. So like, everybody quits here, which kind of showcases again, Shadow Sableye has a little bit of play, but you have to play a little bit like differently towards this, I feel like. The thing is, with Shadow Sableye, you kind of want to always swap out eventually with energy and then try to sweep endgame with the extra energy that you have. And this is something that we utilized throughout the entire gameplay here so far, and this is something that you definitely should try to copy as well if you want to play this Pokemon again, because having this Pokemon on energy is actually really, really good. So it has definitely a lot of potential still. Here we're going to see also the potential against the Annihilate, but of course we have to use a shield, as a Shadow Ball would have knocked us out. They go back most likely into their electric type there. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be the Magnezone. We can go for one charge move, force a shield from the opponent. We can even go for another charge move afterwards, most likely. Exactly. And now we can swap out into our Ferrothorn, which can take any kind of charge move from the opponent. And this is going to be great, as we can even go ahead and go up in terms of the energy. If we're going to be able to reach the next charge move here, we're going to be fine anyway against the opponent. But they swap out into a Mantine, allowing me to go for a Thunder. This is looking really good for us, as I still have a shield left as well. This Thunder is not going to knock them out. They can still go for a charge move, but what do they really want to do here? We're going to be able to take this move. I can try to still reach a power whip here, and I will be able to do so. And so this is going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. This team still works out pretty well. Sableye is still kind of meta, but yeah, it's a little bit more tricky to use nowadays. So hopefully this helped you, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.